A long time ago, I decided that I was not really interested in living within my means.
$4,600 on a cruise when you're currently stacking $176,000 of debt.
My accountant was like, dude, you just bought a Bugatti. You're like out of money. And I was like, no, I'm not.
So today we're going to be looking at people who live above their means. It doesn't matter if you're a normal, everyday person, an influencer, professional athlete, or a celebrity. So many people are guilty of this in today's world. And hopefully this video will help de-influence you so you could avoid these same sort of issues in your life. We also have some comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave them in the comments down below. But let's just jump into it.
My parents are literally always asking me, how can you afford this? How can you afford that? And the answer is so simple, I absolutely cannot. A long time ago, I decided that I was not really interested in living within my means. And ever since then, I've lived a very $10 and $20 out kind of lifestyle. I would stop, but it's yet to all come crashing down. I'm doing fine-ish.
Don't worry, it will come crashing down one day, but this video was made by a travel influencer with the audio overlay, so this wasn't her actual means of how she traveled, but this video was relatable to many people. I personally think if you're single or not in a serious relationship and childless, this is fine, so it's okay to make terrible financial decisions as long as you're on your own. I mean, I do agree if you are a parent or have a family that rely on you, that would make this situation exponentially worse, but it doesn't make it okay if you're single and just destroying your own life. This sounds too funny. We all can relate. Really? My dad said, I gotta say, I'm surprised your job pays this well. I said, oh yeah, I'm very comfortable. Has $30,000 in credit card debt. I went out with a girl who did this throughout her 20s, and when she was 33 and wanted a husband, I laughed. She's now over 40 and single. There have been an increasing amount of examples that we've seen over my past few videos of your bad financial decisions creeping into your relationship portion of your life. But I will say, overspending definitely happens on both sides of the coin. It may be on different things, different items, different products, and I've seen an increasing amount of videos like this from a guy's perspective.
Buy expensive cars because they make you work harder. This obviously isn't financial advice, but it's what helped me level up from car to car. I've always loved cars since I was young, and I went from a 2015 428i to an S5 B9, and now to this, my 2017 540i, and hopefully in a few months will be in an M car. I've heard a few people say buy cars that you can't afford because it makes you work harder. And yeah, I can confirm that's completely true. Well, in my experience, of course.
Yes, with his experience, I would definitely not say that's the majority of cases. I also remember the same type of clip from another creator. I couldn't find the exact example, but it was a TikToker who's up on screen. He interviews people on the street who are pretty wealthy, asking them for advice. You know, everybody likes it. And there was another guy who did the same thing. Bought a supercar, penthouse, just a lighter fire under him to make him work harder. And maybe that works for some people, but I would say for many, that just puts you on a fast track to get a car repo on your record. I mean, here's another one. Boy math, buy the car you want so it makes you work harder with a C8 Corvette. And I know there are some people who are genuinely car guys, and I understand. You want to drive and own different vehicles maybe pretty consistently because you actually love cars. But there are a ton of others who just like what the car signifies to other people, and that can definitely be a slippery slope, let alone how easy this could be faked for social media.
I'm not naming no names, but I wish you guys knew how easy it is to fake being wealthy for the internet here in LA. A lot of those big money guys and your favorite creators don't live where you think they live. So up the street from here, we have this $100 million mansion that costs $90 an hour to rent out. A lot of creators rent that space once a week, film their content, and make it look like they live there. Rent a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, 99 bucks an hour. But there's even more because we also have designer rental services. It's between $300 and $800 a month, and you get bags, shoes, sunglasses, clothing, anything you need, all designer. Just wear it, get your pictures, and then send it back. As long as you didn't ruin it, you don't have to pay for it. You can fully construct a lifestyle out here of wealth. And that's part of the reason we're starting to get a bunch of influencer debt resolution companies now.
We'll talk a little bit more about influencers going broke later in the video, but then you start seeing a lot of the fans, the viewers of that content, start upping their lifestyle because of what they see online. And I mean, some of these posts just get way out of hand. Make me feel better. Our monthly expenses average $7,000 to $8,000 a month. What's yours? The description doesn't make it much better. I want honest numbers. We're a family of 3. Now, maybe if they had 5 or 6 kids, you know, a pretty big family, of course, that's going to be very expensive in 2025. But $8,000 a month on expenses? That seems a little above and beyond to me. I feel like we're always one Target trip away from losing the house. Feel like that's a textbook example of living above your means then. I feel this one. Yep, welcome to real life. Not trying to brag, but my monthly is $9,500 and I only bring in $8,000. $13 to $15,000 just living. Same, Connecticut with 4 kids is expensive. LMAO, you're not spending $200,000 a year in expenses, which honestly I can believe with the examples we've seen on this channel. I would not say it's $200,000 a year in necessities, but a lot more wants and things they don't really need. Our mortgage alone is $5,700, 2 kids in daycare, 1 car payment. Southern California, I can't imagine how much that is in total then. Right under that, wow, does no one live below their means anymore? Doesn't really seem like it. What are we counting in this? Because utilities, groceries, cell phone, we're at about $3,500, but once you start adding in things like my Pilates membership, it creeps up to $5,000 to $6,000 a month. How much is Pilates, man? Private schools plus summer camps and classes for 3 kids, that's $15,000 a month alone for us. Right after it's $16,000 for Catholic school, travel, sports, mortgage, and Pilates again. This is truly unbelievable. We have a comment from you guys that goes well with the high mortgage payments. The problem also stems from people buying at the top of their budget. My wife and I both work and only bought our house that we could afford on 1 salary, and we're paying double on that mortgage, aiming to pay it off in less than 9 years. Most people just live way above their means and are ill-equipped for any variances like this, especially economic uncertainty, maybe a little bit of a downturn. That nice corporate job that you're making a solid income on doesn't have the best quarter, the stock didn't go up like it's always supposed to, and then you're out of a job and in a really tight spot.
How many people is that for?
2.
It's just for both of you guys?
Yes!
How long is it at 4,600?
Because we got a suite. And it's
Okay.
going to be so good.
So you're paying $4,600 on a cruise when you're currently stacking. Are you ready for this?
No. Yes, all right.
$176,000 of debt,
Yeah, that sounds right.
out of which $60,000 is credit card debt.
60?
Chelsea. 60 is credit card debt related.
Whoops.
Oops, I made a mistake. $60,000 gone. The top comment is exactly what I think as well. How do people not know how much debt they have? I guess they just believe the income they're getting is just paying for everything that's going out as well. That is clearly not the case, but still, go on that cruise and spend $4,000 as well.
I'm really curious how people are rationalizing living above their means when they know they can't afford it. For example, I know many people who have student debt, credit card debt, whatever it is. They have a job, but like, for example, I know someone who just bought a Range Rover and they're in probably $100,000 of student loans. Like, how are you, I have anxiety for you. How do you do that? Like, how are you justifying that? Why do people live above their means? Like, I grew up in a family where you get a car that is used and you make sure that it's a good car. Like, I'm not saying buy a crappy one, but get a good car, make sure it gets you from point A to point B. It's safe and, you know, checks the boxes. And then eventually, as you get older, you can justify getting a car because maybe you've bought in a house, you have all of those boxes checked that need to be checked. You're not in credit card debt, you're not in student loan debt. All of those things have been paid off.
But now you need to be seen in that Range Rover when you're 25 years old, not 65. And then one of the comments from this clip goes with the doomer mentality we've seen a lot. I believe right now people have just resigned themselves to being in debt forever. Well, you're not really giving yourself a fighting chance if you're making decisions like this right away. Life is short. I don't have time to wait. Could it be from the fact that we stare at our phones and want everything instantly all the time now, 24/7, that delayed gratification is basically a thing of the past? I don't know. Seems like it to me. Honestly, the phrase YOLO has been the reason why I buy irrational things. LOL. I remember when people would say YOLO ironically because of how cringy it is, but I guess it's just coming back again, and people are actually taking it seriously, as sad as that sounds. But a little part 2 to that clip, with the Range Rover, we have somebody who is on the other end of owning that vehicle.
Hey, how are you? This is Yusuf, the car dealer.
Hey, Yusuf. Thanks for calling back. I appreciate it.
For sure. I see that you have a beautifully spec 2022 Range Rover you're trying to sell. So break it down for me.
I do. I like the car, but my lease payment's $2,400 a month, and I'm looking to get in something new.
So I'm unable to sell leases. Are you looking for like new, or you just mean like a used car to roll over into?
Well, I mean, I've been going to dealership trying to figure out what to do. I went over on my mileage and I think I just want to keep this, but how can you help me? I mean, I'm in a tough spot because my job changed and I ended up going way over my allowance.
How many miles did you go over?
36,000.
That's not going over the mileage just a little bit, 36,000. But surprise, surprise again. I had a really good job. I could get that Range Rover and show off even though it's $2,400 a month for it. Then I changed jobs and lost that six-figure salary and I just need to get out of it into something else. But I'm stuck because I went over mileage and everybody knows actually owning a Range Rover, the maintenance is going to be brutal. We have another comment from one of you guys. This is why the government doesn't think people are actually struggling. People are spending ridiculous amounts of money on frivolous things and then cry that they can't afford rent or groceries. They're looking at the exorbitant amount of American citizens that are spending money on Amazon alone and thinking that, well, they must just not be struggling that much then. A majority of those purchases are going on credit, so in reality, people don't have that money, but it still brings up the profit for these massive companies and their stock prices will go up and they'll look good to the shareholders and everything just keeps chugging along even though it's getting worse. I mean, this next video showing how many people live paycheck to paycheck even with incredible salaries.
Percentage of Americans living paycheck to paycheck based on income. Overall, the study found that about 26% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, but the incomes that they focus in on begin at less than 50,000 all the way up to 150,000, where I think the data is most shocking, so stick around for that. To begin, those making less than $50,000 a year, 35% were found living paycheck to paycheck. For those making 50 to 75K a year, 24% paycheck to paycheck. For those making 76 to 100, 23% living paycheck to paycheck. For those making 101 to 125, 22% living paycheck to paycheck. For those making 126 to 150, 21% living paycheck to paycheck. And finally, for those making even $150,000 plus, still 20%.
Now, I think he ends his videos very abruptly to increase the watch time or people replaying the videos. I'm not sure, but even at 150,000 plus a year, 20% still wait for that check to come in every couple weeks. I could understand the percentage being higher with people not making as much, but once you hit over 150,000 a year, you should have a pretty comfortable life. They just choose not to with their lifestyle choices. It's just crazy to me. Then one of the comments, hello, Mr. Jones, look at my new car. Keeping up with the Joneses will keep you broke. Another set of screenshots. Daughter is napping for 2 hours. Tell me your monthly expenses amount. Down for a good laugh. Here's mine. $16,000. $8,000 to $10,000. Bad spending habits. Okay, the algorithm is algorithming because I was just freaking out to my husband on how we spend $12,000 a month. We buy nothing extra, really? Zero. Necessities and maybe lunch out and coffees here and there. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably a little bit more than coffee and lunch once in a while. Around $15,000 for basics, shelter, car, tuition, utilities. Like, of course, I understand everything being more expensive right now, especially in the past 5 years, but you can't tell me that $15,000 is normal for basics. $10,000 a month, 2 kids in daycare, 1 in after-school care. Being in New York doesn't help. I definitely agree with that. All in around $8,000 living in the suburbs near Cleveland. The comment right after that too just says $14,000. Our expenses have skyrocketed in the last few years, mostly because we moved to South Florida. Used to be in Minnesota with a tiny mortgage and paid off cars. Now we spend around $9,000 a month. Another comment from one of you guys talking about one of the issues we've seen previously. The truth is, no one should be spending above their means for their wedding, period. Whether it's $50,000 or $500. If the look and extravagance of the wedding is really that important, save for it like an adult. Because the stats almost seemed fake. It was like 48% of all weddings, the couple ends up going into debt for the party, just immediately putting a damper on the relationship, because one of the big reasons why people get divorced is financial issues, and definitely doesn't help if you spend $50,000 right off the bat just to get married.
If someone picks a destination wedding, they have to accept that not everyone can afford to go.
It's Machu Picchu, once in a lifetime.
No, you make a lot of money. You can go multiple times in a lifetime.
I don't want to go multiple times. I want to go with my friends and celebrate.
You're maxed out.
Wedding.
Debt.
I mean, the points paid for all the travel.
But you have paid more in interest.
I don't know. It's paying for my trip next month.
Where are you going even?
Tomorrowland in Belgium.
You have maxed out credit cards. You are behind on your mortgage and you're going to Belgium?
This was also somebody making a very solid income, but still the expenses heavily weighed out the money coming in, had to go on trips 24/7, couldn't wait or budget or save at all, not even paying his mortgage either. I mean, that's the top comment. Being behind on your mortgage but traveling is wild. Another comment talking about destination weddings, I lost a 28-year friendship over not being able to afford her $7,000 destination wedding in Mexico. She tried to encourage me to max out my credit card or have my dad take out a loan against his 401k. I don't know about you, that seems like an absolutely terrible friend. And that was a reply from somebody else. Now that's just evil. It seems like the trash took itself out. I know people will feel bad about not going to a wedding that's outside of the country, but you basically have to know that some people are not going to be able to spend thousands of dollars for your party. Social media and treating yourself has really gotten out of hand. Couldn't agree more, because it's way past just making a bad or silly purchase once in a while. I get it, we've all done it before, I definitely have, but realizing what you've done and not making it a habit will definitely help you not become a lot of the people we've seen in this video.
How you make $40,000 a year but you drive a Hellcat? How you out every weekend buying drinks but your credit card's maxed out? How can you afford to go on vacation when you ain't paid your car note in 2 months? Baby, your car about to go on a permanent vacation to the repo lot. We can't be having a lobster appetite on a ramen noodle budget. It ain't gonna work. I got the newest and freshest outfit down to the sock, and I ain't got no money in my checking account. What sense does that make? And I know because I've done it before, you know, trying to live above your means and impress people, and it just ain't it. I'd rather have people care about the content of my character first. It just ain't worth it to be fronting all the time and pretending. The truth gonna come to the light eventually. Do not spend all your money trying to impress people. They don't care that much anyways. The only person you should be trying to impress is yourself every day. So just remember, this weekend, drinks are not on you.
Dave Ramsey said, "We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. When that stops, your finances tend to get better." They're not ready for that conversation. They'll get mad and either say, "If you're broke, just say that." I've seen that a lot in comment sections. Or call you a hater. So like I said before, you can make a whole bunch of videos, give people advice, but some people you really just can't help. You gotta let them make their own mistakes and hopefully realize it eventually. I mean, we have a perfect example in the next clip. Living above my means for 20 years.
This is me being as completely honest and vulnerable as I think I could ever be on the internet. Right now is the most financially stable I have ever been in my life. And I have made six figures for several years. But it wasn't because of necessarily bad decisions. It was just trying to live above the means, the money that was coming in. Now here's the crazy. I got a whole bunch of money going into my 401k. Like when I retire, we're gonna be straight. It's just I didn't do real so good with the money that I was keeping with me. And right now, to say that I have $1,000 in my savings account, I feel pretty good. Like I can't even pretend like I got $1,000 in my savings account right now, and I feel amazing about it. You know, and it's just, I mean, be proud.
So I'm glad that his 401k is in good shape, hopefully helped out by his employer as well, but still you got some time to wait for that. And making six figures for several years of his life and now only having $1,000 in his account really does show you how crazy some of the spending can get. I wish high schools and even military would teach more about budgeting. We need to learn when we're young, not when we get in trouble. And hopefully that's what these types of videos help you with. Too many people have no idea how to budget and save. They want instant gratification of having something now, not saving and buying when it can be afforded. I mean, the biggest one in 2025 now woke up to 18 Afterpay payments due, and it's not payday yet. Everybody loves the BNPL loans. Klarna is tearing me up. Yep, Zip, Afterpay, and Affirm all do. All my Beyonce and Vegas trip payments coming to haunt me next week. Oh, man.
You live at home with your parents at 30. You're a little boy.
I'm not going to sell the Mustang.
Why the not?
Because, like I said, it's a dream car. I'm not going to sell the car.
It's a car. Who gives a if you can't afford to live and you're about to get foreclosed on, get rid of the car.
Let's pay it off.
You wouldn't even send us the VIN. You're the first one ever to never send us the VIN. Why the wouldn't you send us the VIN so we can get the value?
Because I was so determined that I'm not going to sell this car.
And what's the coming on a show where someone tells you what you should probably do? Sell it. Get a $10,000 car, take care of your debt. The rest of it, I mean, it goes to paying off a fifth of your debt.
That wouldn't even put a dent
It
in my debt.
accelerates. A fifth is a dent, you dumb.
The mental gymnastics he's doing to keep his Mustang, his dream car, while he's staying at his parents' house and can't afford to live. It'll barely put a dent into the debt, even though 20%, I would say, is still a significant amount. If you're not going to sell the car, be prepared to live in it. Probably wouldn't be a very comfy and roomy live if you're talking about a Mustang. And we even have people trying to show off now while actively breaking the law, committing fraud, just so they could drive around in a Mercedes.
You walked in for a new Benz, but you end up getting arrested. You tell the dealership that you want to pay $15,000 of it off today, and you want to go ahead and finance the rest. The salesman says, okay, all right, go ahead and provide me with your ID, and the salesman's looking at the ID and the social that you put on the application to finance the remaining balance, and they don't match. Dealership runs the ID through the database, and nothing pops up. Salesman asks, do you have a form of W-2 or paycheck that has the last four of your social security number on it, just to reference the information that you provide us with? And she says, no, I don't have one. I didn't know that I had to have one because I was going to pay for $15,000 on it with my debit card. The salesman says, no worries, that's okay. You're a 28-year-old woman. Your information should definitely be coming up in the database. You've been driving since you were 16. The salesman asks, okay, we're going to go ahead and start the process for getting this paperwork done and trying to stall. Ask for her form of payment of how she's going to pay so you can go ahead and process it. They are very suspicious. Hands over a debit card of someone that's deceased and said, oh, that's my aunt. How did you think that you were going to buy a car with a deceased person's debit card? Once they found out about the debit card, they went ahead and they ran that social security number and it came back to the name that was on the debit card. Shame.
I mean, just unbelievable. We've seen a couple examples now of people trying to use deceased people's credit cards, their social security, and getting caught at the dealership. I specifically remember a Kia dealership that made a TikTok about it, and they went big on this one. They wanted to drive around in a nice Mercedes-Benz.
Are you prepared to be a single mom here? Because the dude is literally ready to leave if we do not solve this. You ready for single motherhood?
No.
Tell me how much the household spent last month. We know what comes in, about 10K.
I think maybe like 11.
Okay, it was $22,229. You don't know what the is possibly going on.
I did not know it was that much.
In a 30-day month, she spent an average of $733 a day. How do people spend 22 grand a month? What do they even buy? That's why I feel like it's so hard to believe, oh, I didn't know it was that much. Really? You don't know that? Come on. But we could switch over to some of the professional athletes and the celebrities that have gone broke. And that's why I think financial literacy is so important. It doesn't matter if you make $50,000 a year or $5 million a year. There are tons of examples of people making insane money, not knowing how to budget, live above their means, and still going broke. We have one example right here that I hope doesn't actually pan out, but with this type of spending, immediately it doesn't look good.
Look, I don't mean to tell you how to spend your money, but I feel like somebody needs to speak up about this. So, Patriots rookie Braden Swinson, the first thing he bought after being drafted was a Lamborghini. You can see by this graphic that his NFL salary is less than 700 grand after taxes. The Lambo costed 250 grand. How many athletes, professional athletes, have we seen go broke because of stupid shit? Spending a third of your yearly salary on a car is crazy. But here's the part that's really concerning me. He's a 5th round pick. What are you doing, dude? 5th round picks usually, quite often, like 80% of the time, do not pan out. I mean, maybe you're the guy. I don't know. Maybe you do pan out, but all I'm going to say is that's so risky, dude.
I also hope it works out for him, but statistics don't lie. There are not too many people that get to have a 15 or 20 year long career. Of course, we hear about that with the athletes who are the best of the best, but especially with something as physical as football, there are a lot of people who will maybe make it a season or two. Maybe they get cut. They don't have anything else to fall back on, but they already bought the mansion and the Lamborghinis and all the Rolex watches. And what are you supposed to do after that? There are a ton of different YouTube videos you could search up with different professional athletes going broke. I hope that this isn't another case, but it's not looking good, honestly. We could go over to one of the celebrities that you've probably seen if you're on social media a good amount. T-Pain, the rapper, was very open about him going broke and being very transparent about how expensive things could really get and how important it is to stay on top of your money.
My accountant was like, dude, you just bought a Bugatti. You're like out of money. And I was like, no, I'm not. I got this house I want to get. I got this other house for my assistants and, you know, all my runners and my producers and stuff. So we bought a house after that, and we just started going crazy with the money. I wasn't paying attention to it. Because, you know, I thought if I didn't have access to my own accounts, that I wouldn't have to look at it.
When you say you was broke, was you at like $0 broke?
I like had to borrow money to get my kids Burger King.
Wow.
Yeah.
After having, what's the most you ever had in the bank at one
time? 40 million.
Bro, that's my worst nightmare. $40 million to zero, my God.
Yeah.
So that's what he's been doing recently on social media. I think there's a clip that's gone around that he just took a normal flight somewhere and people were asking, why didn't he get a private jet, blah, blah, blah. And then he actually showed the ridiculous price of flying private and how unnecessary it really was. And now he's trying to help the next generation not make the same mistakes.
So the reason, you know, everybody asks me, why are you so transparent? Why are you so vulnerable and like that? And I'm just like, if I would have had the information beforehand, I would have done better in my career. I would have been bigger. I would have gone broke. I would have never done anything. But everybody before me that I had to look up to, they were just like, no, this is great. Once you start rapping, it's just money all the time. Just nothing's ever gonna happen bad. Nothing bad's ever gonna happen. Your family's not gonna come after you. Nothing's gonna happen. It's just rap, and it's just girls and swimming pools after this.
And unfortunately, that was not the case for him. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.